Hey guys, Alex here with TFLoffroad. If you ride a motorcycle or even dirt bikes, ATVs, side-by-sides, any kind of power sports, you know that the hardest part of having a good day is keeping in touch with your friends. The solution to that is a comm unit, and here we have the Cardo Packtalk bulbs. So in this video, we are going to show you what's in the box, install the comm unit into this helmet right here. We'll take it for a test ride, show you all the features, and let you decide if this Cardo Packtalk bulb is the best comm unit for you in 2019.
Can you give me a little bit of time? I'm gonna try to get away from you, and then maybe you can catch up.
Yep, do a little distance test. Now I can hear the engine coming through. All right, so I'm going to show you what's inside the box, but before I do, you can see right here it says Packtalk Bulb Duo. This is a duo kit, so there's two identical units in here. This kit retails for $599.95. They also sell a single kit, which of course only comes with one comm unit. That's $339.95. So if you know you're going to need two of these, you save a little bit of money if you buy them as a kit. But if you don't need two, it's nice that you have the option to just get one. Full disclosure, Cardo did send these Packtalk Bulb units to us to review. Now back to the unboxing. So inside the box here, as you can see, we have our two Packtalk Bulb units. And then underneath, we have all of our documentation that shows you how to install it and all the different features. And then we have two installation kits right here, which are identical, one for each unit. So I'll show you what's inside of one of those. And this will contain everything you need to set up one of these comm units onto a helmet. So we'll empty it out here, and then I'll show you everything you get inside. First thing we get here is the little cradle. So this is what will attach to your helmet, and then the comm unit just snaps in like that. We also get a pair of speakers, and this is kind of the big selling point for this Cardo Packtalk Bulb unit. Previously, they used 40mm drivers. They now use 45mm drivers by JBL. We also get two different microphones. So right here we have a wired little lav mic that kind of velcros into the front of the chin bar of the helmet. That's for full face helmets. Then we also have this boom mic that kind of just snaps into the earpiece, and then this sits in front of your mouth, and that's for modular helmets. And you'll see when we install that on the HJC that this is what you need for a modular helmet. We also get some speaker boosters in case the speakers sit a little too far from your ears. This will push them closer and make it sound a little bit louder. These are the Velcro mounting pads for the speakers. We also get a glue plate in case this little snap doesn't work for some reason with your helmet, in case there's some kind of weird mounting point for your cheek pads inside the helmet. They give you a glue plate to make sure it will work with any helmet. We also have some alcohol prep pads. That's for cleaning off the helmet before we stick on all this Velcro. And lastly, a USB charging cable for charging up the comm. Every helmet's going to be a little bit different, so you're going to want to either look up online how to take your helmet apart or look at the manual that came with your helmet. But basically, this is a modular helmet, so I'll open it just to give myself some more room in there to work. And the first thing I'm going to do is unsnap the cheek pad. Step one is going to be take the cradle and actually just slide it between the helmet shell and your cheek pads. So it's just a little clip system. It's got some rubber on the back, and it wedges in there with just a little bit of force. And then if you have a modular helmet, just make sure wherever you placed it, you're still able to close the front shield. Now I have to actually mount the JBL speakers inside the helmet. Most helmet manufacturers nowadays realize that a lot of people like using comm units. So they started to make it really, really easy to install these things by making a little recessed section that perfectly fits a speaker right where your ear goes. These just have some Velcro on the back. There's some little Velcro pads here. So I'm gonna clean off the little section with an alcohol pad, stick the Velcro down, and then stick the speakers into place. One side of the speakers has a longer wire. That obviously goes on the side of the helmet that doesn't have the comm unit, so that's going to be the right side of the helmet. You're going to want to make sure that this wire lies directly on the top of the helmet, because this is actually going to be your FM antenna for the radio. So you want to make sure that it's in a straight line right on the top of the helmet. So on this Arai full face helmet, we used the lav mic, which is just Velcroed into the chin bar. Again, that won't work for this modular helmet, so we're gonna use the boom mic, which has a little bit of Velcro right here. So we're gonna take a Velcro pad, stick it on there, pull the adhesive off, and then we'll just fit it into the helmet exactly where we want it, between the liner and the cheek pad, just like with our speakers. Now, before you start putting your helmet all back together, there's a few wires we need to connect. So you can see we have this little 3.5 millimeter jack for our speakers. That just gets plugged into the little aux port on the Cardo cradle. And then we have this little 2-pin connector, and that's for the microphone. So we'll just dig in and fish the microphone connector. There we go, button that up right there. And then we'll just kind of tuck these wires inside of the helmet. This might take a few tries. When you put your helmet on, you might feel some weird pressure points. So it's really just trial and error and trying to find a little hiding spot for them inside of your helmet. We're just gonna snap everything together, get these wires hidden as best as we can, and then get our cheek pads snapped back in, and then we'll be done. So I've got Andre here. He's wearing the HJC helmet with the Cardo Packtalk Bold we just installed. And luckily Cardo makes it really easy to pair these. We have this app called the Cardo Connect App where we can go through, adjust all our settings. You can see here's our group right here that we're both in. And that just makes it really easy. On some older comm units, you had to memorize some strange combination of buttons to get units to pair together. This is super simple. So we're all paired up. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Yes. All right, let's get on the road.
Dude, so I've never actually used an intercom system like this, which is really cool. And especially in an open vehicle like this Slingshot, even if you have a passenger, you're going like 65, 70, it's hard to talk to your passenger as well.
Exactly. Even on this, if I had a passenger on the back, it'd be good for that too.
You know what? How many cylinders do you have?
3 cylinders.
I have 4.
Ooh. I wonder who's faster.
All right, you're faster. You're faster. It's very clear. I can hear you perfectly well.
Yeah, and I can't really hear too much engine noise coming from the Slingshot. I, of course, hear my engine, but it does a pretty good job at blocking out things you don't want to hear.
Yeah, the microphone is inside the helmet, so I think that should help.
Now, the really cool thing with these comm units is they call it DMC, which is Dynamic Mesh Communication. So it's not standard Bluetooth that it's using. You can actually have 15 riders all together in one group, and one single rider can drop out and the rest of the group will stay together.
Yeah, absolutely. It feels like just a great solution because, you know, 15 people is a big group, and that's nice.
If I could find 15 people to ride with at once, I'd be very surprised.
My wife's family, she has a family friend who does a lot of long distance motorcycle rides. He's part of the Iron Butt Society, or whatever that's called. And this is great for those guys because they spend 10 hours a day on the bike.
Yeah, it'd be pretty perfect for that because people say the battery on this can last 10 to 12 hours, so that's exactly what they'd be looking for.
Yeah, and those guys are pretty crazy because they do like 1,000 miles in like 2 days or something crazy like that. All right, so slow speed test is good.
Yeah, it works really well at slow speeds, about 40 miles an hour, no problems.
So here's the highway high-speed section. Can you give me a little bit of time? I'm gonna try to get away from you, and then maybe you can catch up.
Yep, do a little distance test.
Yeah, a little distance. I'm gonna try to accelerate here.
Now I can hear the engine coming through.
I can still hear you.
I can hear you.
I that's about half a mile maybe? Maybe a quarter? Right, Mark, say what at the full speed of
Actually, you're getting a little choppy now. It's a little hard to hear you.
Alright, I'm gonna slow down.
So I'm pulling up behind Andre right now, and when we got a little far apart, it started to break up a little bit. We didn't lose connection fully, but you could definitely tell it was starting to break up. Cardo says you can get a mile of range between units, but that's in perfect conditions. More average riding conditions, you're gonna get about 0.6 miles, which is pretty consistent to what we just saw back there. Yeah, so the Cardo unit works really well, both at speed and slow speeds. Just gotta make sure the distance isn't too far, but let's get back into the office, talk about the rest of the features, and decide if this actually is the best comm unit of 2019.
Alright, sounds good, dude.
So how's the sound quality? When we were installing it, I mentioned the JBL logo on the box. They are 45mm JBL drivers, and I'm a little bit of an audiophile. I like nice headphones, I like enjoying my music, and I will say it sounds really good for being a comm system. They sound like they could be $100, $150 pair of nice headphones. You're not going to get amazing sound quality out of it just because you have so much wind noise rushing by you, but for a comm system, I think it's pretty unbeatable. Alright, so I mentioned earlier DMC, which stands for Dynamic Mesh Communication. Before we had this technology, everything worked off of standard one-to-one Bluetooth connections. So let's say we had 5 riders going staggered down the road together. Regular Bluetooth communicators, even the new ones made by Cardo that aren't top of the line, basically make a single link between all the riders, daisy chaining everyone together. If you lose one rider, then everyone's link cuts out. The entire group needs to pull over and reset their communicators. It's a huge pain. Now with mesh communication, we have an individual link made between every rider. So if you lose one rider, it's okay. The whole group can still go on and everyone can still talk to each other. There's an ongoing debate between Cardo and Sena. Sena's the other main manufacturer that makes these communication systems. They both have mesh technology though, so it makes it a little tricky to decide which one you should buy. The only trick is, let's say this guy has Cardo and this guy has Sena. You can't use mesh together. Everyone has to be on the same brand, or you have to use that old Bluetooth technology to basically daisy chain everybody together. I like Cardo better because they're rated IP67. It means they're waterproof, whereas the Senas are not. So which one do you buy, Cardo or Sena? It really comes down to what your friends have. If you have a ton of friends that already have Sena and they're all using mesh, don't buy a Cardo. It's just gonna frustrate the whole group. If you're the trendsetter and nobody else has a comm system, get the Cardo. You get waterproofing, you get some better JBL speakers, and overall, I just think it's a better package. Besides Sena, there's also a little bit of competition within Cardo's own lineup. So this is the Packtalk Bold. They also make the Packtalk Slim, which is the exact same price and has all the same features. The design of the units is a little bit different. This one sits all the way on the outside of the helmet and it's just right here. The Slim has a comm unit that adheres here, and then the battery mounts on the back. The Bold is compatible with pretty much any helmet you want to put it on. The Slim, it gets a little bit tricky. So on this Arai helmet, I have this vent on the back, and that means I can't put an external battery right here. On this HJC helmet, there's no vent, so we probably could put the Slim on here if we wanted to. The range is a little bit shorter on the Slim than the Bold. The Bold's also easier to charge because you can pop the whole unit off and bring it to a charger rather than plugging your whole helmet in. But they're both pretty good comm systems to go with. The Slim, obviously, is a little bit more aerodynamic, a little bit sleeker, less noticeable, but you can't go wrong with either one.
Hello, Packtalk Bold, DMC, Intercom, Mode, Mobile Phone, 1, connected.
I don't know about you, but I love riding with friends. The problem is I don't get to do it that often because most of my time riding is spent commuting, so I'm using the Packtalk Bold as a solo rider. That's where the phone connectivity comes in. I've got my phone mounted right here with Waze.
In half a mile,
really nice
turn left.
to get those audio signals coming through. Before I used the comm system, I would still mount my phone and use GPS on the handlebars, but I'd miss my turns all the time because you have to constantly remember to look down and memorize what your next turn is. With the Cardo, you don't need to do any of that. You also can make phone calls, and more importantly, my favorite feature is listening to music.
In 1,000 feet, turn left, then turn right.
I can't demo that for obvious reasons and dealing with copyright on YouTube, but it works just like the GPS, comes through no problem. Volume lowers on your music when your GPS comes in, and it'll also work with Ask Siri or Google Assistant if you're on Android. So it's completely hands-free, and on top of that, I don't even really need to use the buttons on the Packtalk Bold. For example,
in half a mile,
battery
turn
status. Right. Well, I got interrupted there, but hey Cardo, battery status.
Battery status, 80%.
And you can do that, use all the voice commands for things like phone calls, changing tracks, switching radio stations. There's a ton of voice commands, they work pretty well. As long as you're not going like above 70 or 80, you really have to yell if you're at highway speeds, but you know, going 50, not a problem for the voice recognition to pick up your voice and figure out what you want it to do. If you're in the market for a comm system, the Cardo Packtalk Bold is definitely, in my opinion, the one you should go with. It has DMC, which is the newest technology in comm systems for helmets, so you're not buying into outdated technology. If you go with one of their mid-range units, you're not going to get DMC, you're just going to get regular Bluetooth connectivity, and I think you're paying a lot of money for outdated technology. In a few years from now, everything's going to be DMC, and your Bluetooth communicator might not work as you want it to. If you solo ride most of the time and you really don't care about having an intercom to communicate with other riders, check out Cardo's FreeComm 1 Plus. It'll save you about $200 versus this Packtalk Bold. You'll still be able to connect to your phone to get GPS, music, and take phone calls. And you also do have a short-range intercom system for communicating with a passenger. You just won't be able to communicate long distance with other riders. Once again, this has been Alex with TFL Off-Road. Don't forget to go back to TFLoffroad.com for more news, views, and real-world reviews, and hopefully more powersport product reviews as well.